Vin Diesel's latest next, Ebert and Roper.
Saturday night at 10:35.
This is ABC 7 News at 10, Chicago's #1 news.
It appears Saddam Hussein is alive. ABC News is reporting that evidence reveals the man seen touring Baghdad in this videotape shown on Iraqi television is in fact Saddam. But tonight, other experts still doubt it. Good evening. U.S. officials say it doesn't matter if he's still alive. He won't be in control much longer.
A spokesperson for U.S. Central Command says that special forces are in key locations inside of Baghdad tonight. They're scouting targets, encouraging defections, and possibly trying to kill key Iraqi leaders. ABC 7's Chuck Gowdy is following the latest live from Doha, Qatar tonight. Chuck?
Kathy, just 3 days ago, most of Iraq's supposedly elite Republican Guard stood between U.S. military and the center of Baghdad. Tonight, almost all the Republican Guard divisions have collapsed. The U.S. is bringing in reinforcements to the Baghdad International Airport area, setting the stage for an anticipated rush on the center city. That, though, in just a minute. First, what would appear to be the best evidence to date that Saddam Hussein is still alive. It is a videotape broadcast on Iraqi television yesterday. The man shown touring Baghdad may have high-fived and kissed children like a Chicago politician, but is, by all appearances, Saddam Hussein. Despite this being an uncharacteristic public appearance, the evidence here includes a distinctive birthmark and moles on the left side of his face, apparent bombing smoke in the sky behind him, and the presence of his well-known personal bodyguards, convincing many current and former intelligence agents that Saddam is alive and well. A televised speech may be an even better indicator. Experts say Saddam has never used a body double to deliver a speech. Saddam did not say anything about how fast U.S. troops reached the airport in Baghdad, surprising Iraqi forces.
It was as if they woke up and looked around and said, holy cow, where all these Americans come from?
Battlefield commanders say it will take days for the U.S. to clean out bunkers at the airport and even more time to deal with fortified palaces in the surrounding areas. On the other side of Baghdad today, a very different story. Marines fighting a brutal day-long battle with a Republican Guard division that had not been as heavily hit by air attacks as other Iraqi forces near the center city. But sources tell us by the end of the day, the Marines were also at the edge of Baghdad. And from here tonight, word that the United States military may well go after the death penalty in the case of that U.S. Marine who rolled grenades into the tents of his command staff, killing 2 of them. Sergeant Hassan Akbar allegedly rolled grenades into officers' tents at a camp in Kuwait. Reporting live from Doha, Qatar, Chuck Gowdy, ABC 7 News. Ron, Kathy?
Okay, Chuck, thanks. And Iraqi television is now carrying videotape statements of 2 women who may have been suicide bombers in that attack that killed 3 coalition soldiers early this morning. The tape shows each of the women standing in front of the Iraqi flag, their right hands placed on a Quran, automatic rifles in the left hands. A car blew up near a special operations checkpoint in western Iraq overnight, killing the women and the 3 soldiers as well.
The family of that rescued POW is grateful for an Iraqi man who risked his life to save hers. ABC 7's Cheryl Burton joins us with more on the man's mission to help an American stranger. Cheryl?
Well, Ron, he is a 30-year-old attorney who crossed enemy lines to help a woman who was fighting against his own country. Tonight, the incredible story of one stranger's compassion and courage to risk his own life to save an injured American prisoner of war.
He knew that something was wrong and he needed something was done needed to be done about it, and you know, a good-hearted person would do the right thing.
Jessica Lynch's family says this rescue would not have happened had it not been for a man identified only as Mohammed. He acted after visiting his wife, who was a nurse at the Nasiriyah hospital. He witnessed an Iraqi colonel slapping Jessica in the face. He said, "My heart stopped. I knew I must help her be saved. I decided I must go tell the Americans." The next day, Mohammed sneaked into Lynch's room and whispered to her, "Do not worry." This Good Samaritan walked 6 miles to the nearest Marine encampment, approaching the Americans with his hands in the air, shouting, "I want to help you. I want to tell you important information about Jessica." The Marines then urged Mohammed to go back to Nasiriyah and get more information. He returned sergeant with maps of the hospital scrawled on his hands. Then, in the cover of darkness, U.S. Special Forces stormed the hospital and made this dramatic rescue, which now serves as a symbol of hope.
The heroes are heroes, and whether they're Americans or Iraqis, I mean, they're doing a wonderful job.
And as for the Good Samaritan, Mohammed, his family is now being protected by U.S. Marines. Kathy and Ron.
Okay, Cheryl, thanks. And we are just learning tonight that a U.S. Super Cobra attack helicopter has crashed. 2 Marines are dead in Iraq. The cause of the crash at this point under investigation. It does not look like it went down because of hostile fire. And still ahead in our war coverage tonight, this is the first major war that is being run hundreds of miles from the battlefield. Coming up later, Chuck Gowdy is going to take us inside Central Command. And there is an expanded edition of Nightline following this newscast tonight.
In other news, some strong storms left their mark around the Chicago area today. Lightning sparked a fire at a house in Glenview. Everybody got out safely. At O'Hare, a mechanic was injured when lightning struck the nose of a nearby airplane. That mechanic has been released from the hospital. Both O'Hare and Midway reported delays of up to 2 hours because of the weather. Those storms have moved out of the area tonight, and Mike Kaplan will have a look at the weekend weather coming up in just a bit.
Sammy Sosa put his name in the history books tonight.
Didn't he? He cracked his 500th homer. It happened in Cincinnati, and Mark's got the story of the big hit.
And all I can think about is this USA Today reporter a couple of weeks ago wrote that 500 doesn't mean anything anymore because too many guys are getting close. Oh. Ridiculous. Okay, we can all relax now. He got it out of the way early. 4th game of the season, Sammy automatically punches his ticket to Cooperstown with 1 swing. 7th inning, facing the Red Scott Sullivan, who's now a trivia question. Sosa jacks out the majestic solo shot to right center, becoming just the 18th player in Major League history to hit 500 in a career. Now 12 shy of Mr. Cub Ernie Banks for 14th place all time. Clawing for the souvenir. That'll be a court suit. Sammy's wife on hand to witness it. We hope to hear from Sammy later in sports. The Cubs did lose the game, but tonight it didn't matter.
No,
it was all about Sam.
That's just great.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, we do have more baseball ahead tonight. White Sox fans spending months looking forward to the home opener, but today was definitely no picnic. The weather really did make it a test of endurance.
Also, Mayor Daley loses around in the fight over Meigs Field.
And a cozy setting with food for comfort. James Ward introduces us to Phil and Luz.
October 2004, 18 months, over 540 days, 13,000 plus hours, a real long time from now. In other words, you have what seems like forever to pay for the Wicks furniture you buy today. No tricks, no harm, no mandatory monthly payments, and absolutely no interest adding up. It's a free ride until October 2004. No payments, no interest adding up until October 2004. The real deal, now at Wicks Furniture.
'Introducing SeaWorld Vacations. Everything you'd expect from a world-class theme park and everything Central Florida has to offer. Go to SeaWorldVacations.com today. Your perfect family vacation is right at your fingertips.
You know you gotta live with this.
I know.
10th one of these I've done this week.
Doesn't surprise me.
What's your boyfriend gonna do when he sees this?
What do you think?
Ford Focus, now only $199 a month, including a 100,000-mile extended service plan. It's easy to see why some make Focus a permanent part of their lives, and others get knocked off their feet. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
I'm Jose Sanders.
And I'm Judy Sue. Monday morning, fighting the stomach virus that's hitting lots of young children.
And a warning about those super fast tax refunds.
I'm Tracy Butler. I will have your forecast for the Cubs home opener.
I'm Roz Varon. More changes on I-57. I'll have details.
It's on Monday, beginning at 5 a.m.
ABC 7 News at 10 continues with Kathy Brock, Ron Majors, Cheryl Burton, weather with meteorologist Jerry Taft, and sports with Mark G. and Greco.
Americans who get sick from that mystery illness known as SARS are facing quarantine. President Bush has signed an executive order allowing health officials to detain Americans who are infected with severe acute respiratory syndrome. The president's order says if SARS spreads in the United States, quote, it would have a severe public health consequence. The disease has spread rapidly through Asia since it first surfaced in China. It is blamed for at least 85 deaths in Asia and Canada.
The battle over Meigs Field will apparently be settled in court. A judge today issued a temporary restraining order which keeps Chicago officials from tearing up any more of the lakefront airport. The runway there has already been destroyed. Also today, federal officials closed the control tower at Meigs, saying it's no longer needed. Meigs supporters feel safety will be compromised since the lakefront is now considered uncontrolled airspace. They say a close call in the sky just 2 days ago could happen again.
Looks like we got conversion targets going on here, sir. Why don't you descend down for me, please? Okay, should be about a half mile in front of you now, sir. Right over the top of it. Thank you, sir. That's why we need to be here. Would you tell Mayor Daley you just saved my life? I would, but I don't count. Why don't you do it? I guess we don't count either, though.
The city is appealing today's court ruling that produced the temporary restraining order.
The White Sox play their first game at the newly named U.S. Cellular Field, and it was one of the team's coldest home openers ever. Rain delayed the game against the Detroit Tigers by 2 hours today, and when the first pitch was thrown, the temperature was just 37 degrees. But fans today were rewarded for their perseverance. Mark Giangreco is going to have highlights of the Sox victory in sports a little bit later on.
Also still to come, Mike Kaplan with the forecast that may keep you inside this weekend. But first, ABC 7's Chuck Gowdy tells us why U.S. commanders are so far from the front lines this time.
Also, new incentives to buckle up when you hit the road. And in sports, Sammy's talking about tonight's unforgettable moment. Plus, more on the Sox home opener.
Your local Chevy dealer is proud to introduce the newest member of the team, Jay Williams. Now make your money count with 0% APR financing for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy car.
You're going to pay for that, right? I'm not kidding. You're going to pay for that, right?
Mom, I feel hot.
When Johnny had a fever, his mom gave him medication and then comfort with Be Cool. Be Cool soft gel sheets provide immediate cooling relief. They apply easily, and unlike messy wet cloths, Be Cool stays in place while it cools and soothes for hours, which gives Mom time to take care of other things, like Johnny's twin sister, Joni.
Mom, I'm hot too.
Be Cool, what a comfort.
One for Teddy, too.
Look for Be Cool in the analgesic section of your retailer.
Intense, isn't it? For in-your-face home theater action, come to Best Buy. From Sony Plasma TVs to Bose Surround Sound, we'll help find the system that's right for you. Get into the action at Best Buy.
The new 315 horsepower all-wheel drive Infiniti FX45.
Tonight's special segment, Central Command for Operation Iraqi Freedom. This is the first major war to be run hundreds of miles from the battlefield. ABC 7's Chuck Gowdy shows us why U.S. commanders are so far away from the action.
Along this rocky road on the eastern Arabian Peninsula is the Asaliya Army Base, protected by guards with machine guns, full body scanners, and bomb-sniffing dogs. This is U.S. Central Command headquarters, the home base of 4-star War Commander General Tommy Franks and his staff of combat planners. But this isn't Iraq or even Kuwait. This is Doha, Qatar, nearly 400 miles south of the front lines.
We needed a forward deployed headquarters for a lot of reasons. One big reason is just the time zone difference. Washington and the East Coast are awake when we're asleep.
Central Command is actually based on the U.S. East Coast here in Tampa, Florida, where General Franks recently gave a pep talk to home troops. From Tampa, the U.S. Central Command normally oversees military concerns in 25 Middle Eastern countries and currently also supervises the action in Afghanistan.
We didn't have a forward deployed headquarters in Afghanistan, and that didn't hinder us, but for this situation, it's important to do so.
While computers could run the war in Iraq from Tampa, this satellite center was set up in Doha. U.S. military officials admit this is not rough duty. Doha is a clean, safe, Fort Lauderdale-like city of 750,000 people on a peninsula that protrudes into the Persian Gulf. In this modern bayside city, worries of air raids and chemical attacks are seen only on the news. It would be like sitting in Chicago and knowing that there is a civil disturbance in Cincinnati. It is that geographically removed. And so from here, Franks and his command staff supervise a war being carried out on the Badlands of Iraq.
This headquarters here is built, it was actually built in Florida and shipped over on ships to be put in the warehouses. It's mobile. You could have a big headquarters like we have here. You could take 3 or 4 of these little modules and go out in the field and work on a famine, or you could go to another country in our region. So we can put this anywhere.
The anywhere of this war is Doha, a place where news correspondents from around the world gather every day to hear battlefield reports and file their stories. From a city that was fired on in the first Gulf War, but is most likely out of range of current Iraqi missiles. It may only be coincidence that U.S. Central Command is also located in the hometown of Al Jazeera, the controversial Arab TV network. Al Jazeera broadcasts decidedly anti-American newscasts from this nondescript office building just several miles from where General Franks delivers the U.S. version of events. War is still one of the oldest methods of settling international disputes, but for the U.S. in the year 2003, it is largely executed by remote control. In Doha, Qatar, Chuck Gowdy, ABC 7 News.
Back in Illinois, the seatbelt law could soon get much stricter. Lawmakers in Springfield today approving a bill to allow police across the state to pull over and ticket drivers for not buckling up. Officers say that part-time seatbelt users would be the main target. Governor Blagojevich supports the move and is expected to sign the bill into law.
We used to rain in April, but cold rain, and this is a mess.
You know, not that far south of here, around Danville, they had tornado warnings, and not too far north around Milwaukee and Racine, they've had winter weather advisories for snow and sleet. Wow. So, you know, we had that front with us all week long that was separating 80-degree warmth from those upper 30s, and it really fired up today. Take a look at some of these 24-hour rainfall totals. This as of about 8 o'clock tonight. Midway, almost 1.5 inches, better than 1.5 inches at O'Hare. Just about everybody picked up at least 3/4 of an inch of rain. It's beneficial. That was the good part. We could have done without the hail that came down. We had a golf ball size hail in a few locations, big stuff around Elgin, Wheaton, and one severe thunderstorm earlier in Kankakee County that moved into northwest Indiana around Rensselaer. You can see these waves of thunderstorms. They're now out of the area, moving out of Indiana into Ohio, still some along the Ohio River in extreme southern Illinois, and then this is snow, and we may see a few flakes of snow in here later tonight, and perhaps another chance of snow Sunday night into Monday. More on that storm in a minute. 39 at Valpo, 34 at O'Hare. We're not getting a temperature this hour from the lakefront. The Weather Service is going to try and make do now that Miggs is closed. They're, I think, installing something out at Adler. 32 at Buffalo Grove, 31 degrees at Cary. It is 34 at O'Hare, a raw north wind at 13 miles an hour. Almost hate to put that stat up there. We got a wind chill of 25. 39, that was it for the high, 14 degrees shy of average. And tomorrow, no picnic either. We'll hit 41. It'll be 53 in New York City, although upstate New York going to be digging out from snow and ice. This storm has got some cold air to tap into, where you see those shades of pink and blue. It is ice and snow that reaches all the way back across Michigan into Ohio. Here's your squall line of thunderstorms reaching all the way into eastern Texas. But there's an area of low pressure back out here that's getting going. That's going to tap some jet stream energy and affect us Sunday night and Monday. And it will be cold enough here for most of that precipitation to come down in the form of snow. I know it's going to be, April, but we've got cold, ugly precip on the way. Tomorrow's just going to be cold. Cloudy and raw tonight, sprinkle or a flurry down to 30 degrees for the low with wind chills in the teens. Breezy and chilly tomorrow. We will have some sunshine. That's a plus, a high of 41 degrees. on Sunday. During the day, we're fine, 38 degrees, but at night, we're going to get some snow out of this thing, and snow may mix with rain on Monday. This storm system is one to watch, but we start to warm up Tuesday 46, Wednesday 54, and after that we should be in the 60s. But that Sunday night into Monday, going to be some accumulating snows, if not here, not that far away.
Wow.
Going to hold you to that 60s next week.
All right.
When we come back, visit the near west side, and you'll find a bunch of new restaurants.
James Ward finds a spot that serves food, fancied old favorites, almost as good as your mom's.
And we'll have more on Sammy's 500th, the Sox home opener, and we'll try to explain this. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Bob, and this is Alice.
We're the Columbosians who invented Columbo yogurt.
We just saw Dana's new containers. They're a whole lot smaller, so you get less yogurt.
We don't think it's a very good idea.
What if everything got a whole lot smaller? We're keeping Columbo big, so you get at least 4 more spoonfuls than Dana.
That's 33% more.
We may be a small brand, but we think big. Columbo, 8 ounces since 1929.
Wouldn't it be amazing if an airline offered everyday low fares to cities you'd actually want to go to? Is that too much to ask? We don't think so. ATA announces everyday low fares to everywhere. Take advantage of everyday low fares to everywhere we fly with no advance purchase or minimum stay requirements, advanced seat assignments, and the youngest fleet of any major U.S. airline. Want to fly for free? Go to ATA.com to register and learn how you can start earning your free trip today. ATA, an honestly different airline.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Because right now you can get 0% financing for 60 months or $3,000 to $4,000 cash back on some of America's best-selling vehicles. That's 0 for 60 or $3,000 to $4,000 on Explorer, Explorer Sport, Expedition, Taurus, Ranger, F-150, and Windstar. 0 for 60 or $3,000 to $4,000 cash back on some of Ford's best-selling cars, trucks, and sport utilities. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Ladies, empower yourself with a weekend full of engaging seminars and exciting entertainment.
It's V103's 11th Annual Expo for Today's Black Woman, April 4th through the 6th at McCormick Place.
The expo kicks off with Gala 2003, featuring legendary singer Al Jarreau and the Reverend Dr. Renita Weems.
Plus, come out to see Reverend Al Sharpton, Dick Gregory, Yolanda Adams, and Brian McKnight, April 4th through the 6th at McCormick Place. For more information, call 312-540-2000.
That was me trying to change the lotto numbers.
Was it?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No, it
Cubs and Sox both making news today.
Yeah, Sammy hit the lotto big time tonight. That's really all we care about. As we showed you earlier, Sammy did indeed get his 500th tonight in a wild slugfest with the Reds at that new Great America Park. Truly a beautiful hitter's park as they're waiting for baseballs out on that barge. Cubs were down 7-0 at one point. Then in the 5th, Hee-Sop Choi scoops a blast to left center, a 2-run homer, makes it 8-6. They're within 2. 7th inning then, history. Nobody on for Sammy, sprays the solo shot to right. Number 500 into the seats, and who's going to get that souvenir? He takes a bow. 8-7, they're within 1. 8th inning then, pinch hitter extraordinaire Lenny Harris cranks a 2-run missile to right. That ties it up at 9, but the bottom of the 8th, the old veteran Barry Larkin knocks in Jason LaRue. The Cubs wind up losing the ball game 10-9, but Sammy does make history. Cold, rain, and a White Sox winner. The long-delayed U.S. Cellular Field opener turned out to be well worth the wait today, and Brad was there through it all.
The showers have been coming down.
There's never been a colder White Sox opener. When the rain finally stopped, it was 37 degrees with a 21-mile-an-hour wind. But those who persevered were rewarded for their patience. The Sox KO'd Detroit starter Nate Corneo in the 2nd inning. Joe Creedy struck the big blow, a 2-run homer for what was his 6th hit in his first 12 at-bats.
I'm always working on stuff at the plate, and, I feel fortunate to get off to a hot start because, I always know around the corner that slump's going to be waiting for me.
Esteban Loaiza, making his Sox debut, took a no-hitter and a 4-0 lead into the 5th. But Eric Munson cut that lead in half with a towering 2-run homer to right center. The Sox out-hit the Tigers 10-3. Billy Koch bounced back from yesterday's debacle by striking out the side in the 9th inning to put the lid on a 5-2 victory.
For my well-being and my mental state, I want to be out there as quickly as possible to get the job done, but also for my teammates and the coaching staff and the fans. I mean, you know, they're sitting there saying, oh, God, we got this guy. Look what he just did. And, you know, you want to get out there and let them put their trust in you.
Billy Koch got booed when he took the mound in the 9th inning. Asked if he was surprised. He said, not really. He said, I was only surprised that everybody didn't boo. From Sox Park, Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
And he is a scary-looking guy. Hawks' Igor Radulov was anxious to get back in the lineup for tonight's rematch with the Blues. He played well again. As Brian Sutter's guys were trying to sting St. Louis again, they came close. Second period, Alex Yamnov, great cross-ice feed to Steve Sullivan. And bang, that makes it 2-1, but the Blues come back to tie it. It ends 2-2. The Wolves beat Cincinnati 4-2. The Chicago Rush played a rare morning game in Detroit today, but everybody seemed to be awake. Fury quarterback Andy Kelly pressured, and he's picked off by Lindsey Fleshman, who turns it the other way 44 yards for the touchdown. The Rush win 62-45. They're 4-6 now. And finally, this was the halftime show coming up right here. Hula girls with squirt guns hosing down a guy in a helmet with a fertilizer spreader dancing around a kiddie pool. Now this is indoors on artificial turf, mind you. I don't get it. It's the Arena League. Instead of 100 yards of football, it's 50 yards of pure fun, apparently.
Well, here's the scary thing.
What's that?
ABC thinks it'd make a great reality show.
Oh, no, stop it. Stop it.
Don't give him any ideas.
Right. The Bachelor Hula Girl. There you go.
There you go. Still to come tonight, from seafood to salads to old-fashioned favorites.
James Ward's going to show us where there's something for everyone.
Dr. Schultz?
It's me. I sold my dental practice to become a flight attendant.
But you hate to travel.
Yeah, but I was paying for this national plan my wireless company sold me, and now I actually get to use it.
Oh.
Have you been flossing? Open.
At US Cellular, great wireless service starts with award-winning customer service.
So they'll make sure you get the plan that fits your needs.
US Cellular. We connect with you.
Morton Grove is getting a brand new shoe carnival.
And shopping for shoes will never be the same.
This weekend, have some fun in our inflatable theme park.
And check out more than 35,000 pairs of brand name shoes.
Plus, when you buy one pair of shoes, get a second pair half price.
On brands like Nike, Skechers, New Balance, and more.
Saturday at Shoe Carnival.
Win $1,000.
A new Jeep Liberty Renegade or a Dell home computer.
Plus your second pair of shoes, half price.
Shoe Carnival in Morton Grove.
Is the IRS stalking you? Do you feel like you're at the end of your rope? Stop the harassment now.
Hello, I'm John Harris, president of J.K. Harris & Company, the nation's largest tax representation firm. Our former IRS agents have helped thousands of our clients save millions of dollars, and they know how to make the system work for you.
Call the IRS experts at J.K. Harris now for your free confidential tax settlement analysis. Call 1-800-817-0904.
That thing got a Hemi, right? Yeah. Well, now I got a Hemi, too. But I got something you don't got. Check this out.
Dodge Ram 1500. The Hemi legend continues.
Grab Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty, plus 0% financing or $2,500 cash allowance. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match this.
Vin Diesel takes on a drug cartel in A Man Apart.
And Colin Farrell in the thriller Phone Booth.
Next, Ebert and Roper.
Saturday night at 10:35 on ABC 7.
Restaurants are popping up all over Chicago's near West Side, and tonight, food critic James Ward tells us about a new place that has a great recipe for success, value, and flavor. James.
And flavor. Kathy and Ron, a restaurant can have wide appeal without trying to offer something for everyone, which is not only a cliche, but an impossibility. For example, tonight's restaurant has an eclectic menu but it makes a definite statement. It also answers the question, what's in a name? A name like Phil and Lou's.
Even if the name sounds fictitious, I can assure you that the restaurant is real, as in hard-edged reality, brown paper-top tables, endless brick walls, and dim lighting. However, there is a light and lively bar scene where a martini is dry and clear, not sweet and blue. Also, the service is swell for parties large or small. And there are some touches of whimsy. The owner, for one, Nick Andrews, a longtime realtor and restaurateur, is a jolly co-host with the adorable Madison Drake. Then there's the menu.
This is a fascinating document, sort of a roadmap that starts on America's Main Street and then goes to culinary highways and cookery byways.
Sure, there's steak and good prime rib at a good price, and would you believe Parker House rolls? There's even that blast from the past, crunchy, roasted chicken with mashers and gravy, and blue plate specials as well. Also, don't miss the East Coast mussels steamed in beer, the Hollywood tasty and pretty Cobb salad, and the Midwest meatloaf, the best I've had since Mom's. And here, Chef Jose Rivera puts a new twist on mac and cheese with orzo, not mac, and lots of lobster. Beyond this home cooking, you'll find a luscious Latino ceviche with shrimp and plantain chips, a Parmesan-crusted Sicilian veal chop, a conventional wood-grilled salmon, and an unconventional but tedious vegetarian risotto. You'll also find trendy, undercooked veggies and old-fashioned, overcooked pork. The favorite house dessert is good old bread pudding with pear rum sauce. Finally, about the name, yes, there is a Phil and Lou, their owner Nick Andrews' best friends, and their restaurant is at 104 West Madison. Call 312-455-0070. Average tab food only, about $18.
Because Phil and Lou's is near price point perfect for value, despite some inconsistencies, it gets a good bread rating of 8 for food and a 7 for circuses. And ciao for now. Ron, Kathy, Mark, wherever you are.
Mark will be around.
Mark will be around.
I guess that's one great way to make sure you're always going to get along with your partners, is make the dogs the partners.
They're your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Thanks, James. That's our report for tonight. An expanded edition of Nightline is coming up next year on ABC 7. I'm Ron Majors.
And I'm Kathy Brock. For Cheryl Burton, Mark Jane Greco, Mike Kaplan, James Warden, everyone else here at ABC 7. Have a great night and a good weekend, everybody.
Closed captioning of this newscast is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana's well-oiled machine.
From the firefighter battling a blaze to keeping the environment as Mother Nature intended, and to our family and children, the Plumbing Council contractors have been protecting the health of the nation for more than a century. From large commercial projects to our homes, you can count on Plumbing Council contractors maintaining the tradition of keeping us safe, our environment clean, and our families healthy. For all of your plumbing needs, make sure you use a Plumbing Council contractor or call us at 1-800-76-VALVE.
Superstar rockers, the Foo Fighters, are sold out everywhere. But you can see them tonight only on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Plus, don't miss co-host Mike Tyson. Jimmy Kimmel Live, late night tonight.
Help make the critical first years of a child's life healthy and happy. Hi, everyone. I'm Rob Johnson from ABC 7, and this is Bear from TV's Bear in the Big Blue House.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and together we can make a difference in the life of a child.
Join us Saturday, April 12th for the Wrigley Start Early 5K, 10K Run, Walk, and Kids Dash, benefiting Voices for Illinois Children and Prevent Child Abuse America.
For an application, call 456-0600 or visit startearlyrun.com.
See you there.
I just learned something. If we buy local phone service from AT&T or MCI WorldCom, they're just repackaging SBC local service. AT&T and MCI have no local network or technicians. They're just brokers, leasing lines and reselling service at a big profit. And get this, in our area, they pay the lowest rates in the country to lease the service. But do they pass the savings along to you and me? It's a real sweet deal for AT&T and MCI. What about us?
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Because right now you can get 0% financing for 60 months or $3,000 to $4,000 cash back on some of America's best-selling vehicles. That's 0 for 60 or $3,000 to $4,000 on Explorer, Explorer Sport, Expedition, Taurus, Ranger, F-150, and Windstar. 0 for 60 or $3,000 to $4,000 cash back on some of Ford's best-selling cars, trucks, and sport utilities. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.